iSITE is an organization for IT students formed by the deans from 8 different universities in Region 4A, Calabarzon, Philippines, to boost the IT skills of students from more than 200 universities, offering IT education programs such as computer science, information technology, information systems, and computer engineering. iSITE is the only recognized organization by the Commission on Higher Education in the field of IT education in the region. Its event is always a much-awaited one, since pool of speakers are coming from relevant industries in the field and well-known academicians in the country. In order to address the need for knowledge of students from the very fast-changing technology, iSITE conducted 2 to 3 conferences and seminars in a year, and the annual iSITE Regional Research Conference and Presentation, IT Education, iSITE, and IT competitions endorsed by the Philippine Commission on Higher Education. As such, iSITE was able to achieve its objectives in a matter of 5 years after its foundation. Most importantly, not only the students benefited, but also the universities and schools in the region. The program helped a lot of schools and students in terms of providing them with the latest seminars and trainings in various emerging topics in ITE. They have been exposed to people in the industry for networking and linkages, and even IT skills certifications. Students as well as faculty member advisors were able to see the latest gadgets and devices, such as drones and robots in advance when they participate in every event. They were able to learn about the research outputs of various school student participants. Faculty members were able to interact and share best practices with each other. Aside from fun, excitement, and prizes, students' outstanding skills in programming, creativity, and research presentations were recognized and showcased. Above all, sharing and collaborations have been developed, and self-confidence of students were proven to assist them in their future career after graduation. As there is a need to further supplement learning of many students in a third world country like the Philippines, especially that the field of IT is a fast-changing technology, IT Students Capacity Building Program was implemented to address the need. Most schools and universities in the regional part of the country need to have state-of-the-art facilities and laboratories at par to at least our neighboring ASEAN countries. Schools offering information technology education ITE programs are striving to keep its curriculum up to date, facilities upgraded, and learning support resources provided to all its students. However, not all schools and universities in the region can provide the needed learning resources to students, as well as linkages to relevant industries of the programs. Hence, iSITE, Integrated Southern Tagalog Information Technology Education, developed this program. To date, there are more than 2,000 student members and 80 higher educational institutions as institutional members in the region. This program provided industry-aligned and timely seminars, trainings, and conferences to students taking ITE programs in the region, addressing the needs of universities as well as the needs of many small schools in the region. Big schools and universities, and those with higher level of accreditation, local and international, and Center of Development and Excellence in IT Education, are extending their resources and facilities to help other schools through the program. In addition, it also promotes a research sharing and collaborations by allowing students to present their theses and capstone as research outputs to other students from various universities for utilization and potential commercialization. Also, the seminars and trainings provided by experts in the industry develop the IT skills of the students that equip them to compete in several programming and IT skills competition in the regional and national levels. iSITE is an organization for IT students formed by the deans from 8 different universities in Region 4A, Calabarzon, Philippines, to boost the IT skills of students from more than 200 universities, offering IT education programs such as computer science, information technology, information systems, and computer engineering. iSITE is the only recognized organization by the Commission on Higher Education in the field of IT education in the region. Its event is always a much-awaited one, since pool of speakers are coming from relevant industries in the field and well-known academicians in the country. In order to address the need for knowledge of students from the very fast-changing technology, iSITE conducted 2 to 3 conferences and seminars in a year, and the annual iSITE Regional Research Conference and Presentation, IT Education, IRR Site, and IT competitions endorsed by the Philippine Commission on Higher Education. As such, iSITE was able to achieve its objectives in a matter of 5 years after its foundation. Most importantly, not only the students benefited, but also the universities and schools in the region. The program helped a lot of schools and students in terms of providing them with the latest seminars and trainings in various emerging topics in ITE. They have been exposed to people in the industry for networking and linkages, and even IT skills certifications. Students as well as faculty member advisors were able to see the latest gadgets and devices, such as drones and robots in advance when they participate in every event. They were able to learn about the research outputs of various school student participants. Faculty members were able to interact and share best practices with each other. Aside from fun, excitement, and prizes, students' outstanding skills in programming, creativity, and research presentations were recognized and showcased. Above all, sharing and collaborations have been developed, and self-confidence of students were proven to assist them in their future career after graduation. As there is a need to further supplement learning of many students in a third world country like the Philippines, especially that the field of IT is a fast-changing technology, IT Students Capacity Building Program was implemented to address the need. Most schools and universities in the regional part of the country need to have state-of-the-art facilities and laboratories at par to at least our neighboring ASEAN countries. Schools offering information technology education (ITE) programs are striving to keep its curriculum up to date, facilities upgraded, and learning support resources provided to all its students. However, not all schools and universities in the region can provide the needed learning resources to students, as well as linkages to relevant industries of the programs. Hence, iSITE, Integrated Southern Tagalog Information Technology Education, developed this program. To date, there are more than 2,000 student members and 80 higher educational institutions as institutional members in the region. This program provided industry-aligned and timely seminars, trainings, and conferences to students taking ITE programs in the region, addressing the needs of universities as well as the needs of many small schools in the region. Big schools and universities, and those with higher level of accreditation, local and international, and Center of Development and Excellence in IT Education, are extending their resources and facilities to help other schools through the program. In addition, it also promotes a research sharing and collaborations by allowing students to present their theses and capstone as research outputs to other students from various universities for utilization and potential commercialization. Also, the seminars and trainings provided by experts in the industry develop the IT skills of the students that equip them to compete in several programming and IT skills competition in the regional and national levels.
Good afternoon, dear iSITE student members and faculty advisors. Welcome to our 6th iSITE webinar series. Today is the continuation of your Saturday informative and substantial updates on the latest and emerging topics in ICT. Thank you for rising up to the challenge of this new academic landscape. Today, we have an interesting topic on IoT, or Internet of Things. By participating in our iSITE webinar series, you consent us to capture, record, process data you share directly and indirectly on these events. To ensure the smooth flow of our webinar, please be guided by the following. This session will be recorded for documentation purposes. For best user experience, use Google Chrome browser for desktop and Zoom app for mobile. Only the speaker's microphone and video camera should be turned on. For those in the Zoom account, use our chat box for your questions and suggestions. Those in FB Live or YouTube Live, please type your questions in the comment section. It will be read later by the host during the Q&A. At the end of this webinar, we hope that our faculty and student attendees could apply the knowledge and concept you gained in the webinar in the development of your projects or conceptualization of your capstone course. To our dear participants, at the end of the webinar, a link to the evaluation form will be posted and you have to fill out to receive your e-certificate, which will be sent to you by email. Please write your name correctly as it will appear in the e-certificate. Thank you. Moving on, to give his opening remarks, may we hear it from the Vice President of iSITE, Dr. Jesse Montalvo of Batangas State University.
Our iSITE President, Dr. Rosalie Alday, fellow iSITE officers, and students tune in today with us in Zoom and YouTube. A pleasant afternoon to all of you. It is with esteemed pride and honor to welcome you all in the 6th series of webinar being offered for free to all members of iSITE. The topic to be discussed to you today is perhaps one of the most common theses or capstones project in IT and CS, which is the Internet of Things or IoT. Nowadays, majority of devices we use are always connected to the Internet. This is the reason why most of us want to explore the nitty-gritty of IoT. Connecting things to the Internet gives many amazing benefits. We've all seen these benefits with our smartphones, laptops, and tablets. But this is true for everything else too. Imagine we can now control our appliances or lighting at home, in any place or anywhere we are. When something is connected to the Internet, that means that it can send information or receive information or both. This ability to send and receive information makes things smart, and in today's generation, being smarter is better. Our lecturer will explain in detail how to develop an IoT and how it will work. So I hope you will listen very well to her presentation because I know you will learn a lot from her. Again, our sincere thanks to all of you for your continued support to iSITE, the first and only organization in Asia to receive the prestigious 2020 Innovation Award from the Accreditation Board in Engineering and Technology Computing Accreditation Commission, or the ABET-CAC. ABET is an international accrediting body that accredits engineering and computing programs all over the world. Happy listening and happy learning to all.
Thank you, Sir Jesse. So let us now move on with the next part of the program. It is indeed our honor and pride that we are given full support by our CHED Region 4A Supervisor and the Advisor of iSITE. So to inspire us this afternoon, may I call on for this inspirational message, Mr. Lupel B. Gueta.
Good afternoon, iSITE. iSITE officers, headed by Dr. Rosalie Alday, iSITE members, student participants, school representatives. I would like to express my gratitude and commend Dr. Rosalie Alday for this continuous service to IT students. iSITE ensures that the delivery of this series of webinars to students of Calabarzon despite of this COVID pandemic. This afternoon session entitled Internet of Things will be delivered by our very own Luisa Makatangay. Due to the evolution and convergence of multiple technologies, real-time analytics, machine learning, commodity sensors, embedded sensors, also the addition of wireless sensor networks, control systems, automation, the term of Internet of Things have evolved. Here in the Philippines, we are still in the limbo of finding stable internet connection. Although some experts says that we are in the fourth industrial revolution. In some Asian countries, the internet connection is embedded in the electrical power. For some, the technologies are at their countryside. Dito sa atin, sa major cities pa lang. These are the challenges to us as educators, as students, to keep pace with our neighboring countries, that through these webinars being conducted by iSITE can give encouragement as IT educators to strive more so that we can be contributory and implement Internet of Things here in the Philippines. Again, it is my great pleasure and honor to welcome you all to this webinar. Remember, in this time of pandemic, it is only the mode of learning has changed. The quality of education must be the same. Thank you, and please keep safe always.
Thank you, Sir Luper, for the usual and untiring support to iSITE. The highlight of this afternoon's webinar is our talk on the topic IoT, Internet of Things. So I will now introduce our speaker for today. The highlights of this afternoon's webinar is the continuation of our webinar series on emerging topics in ICT, which can help the participants in the completion of their projects as well as their capstone topics. So let me introduce our speaker for today. Our speaker is my former student who is currently the president of MCTech Training and Assessment Center Incorporated. She graduated Bachelor of Science in Information and Computer Science, Master of Science in Computer Science, and Doctor of Business Administration. She had been in the academe for 22 years, teaching information technology, computer science, and business courses. She has established professional linkages through affiliation in several organizations such as iSITE, PTVEA, and the like. She was elected as the president of Philippine Society of Information Technology Educators, Region 4. So let us all welcome our speaker, Dr. Luisa P. Makatangay. So please give her a virtual round of applause.
Good day, everyone. I am here to talk about Internet of Things. What is an Internet of Things? Okay. Internet of Things is a system of interrelated, interconnected objects that are able to collect and transfer data over a wireless network without the human intervention. We may therefore conclude that everything is connected. IoT encompasses everything connected to the internet, but it is increasingly being used to define objects that talk together or that talk to each other. Simply, an Internet of Things is made up of devices from sensors to smartphones and wearables connected to each other. Digital technology has enabled business to innovate their approach to interacting with society. People from all generations, as you can see in the picture, are more comfortable with the digital technology and are using smart devices to their advantage throughout their busy days. The question now is, can smart devices think? All digital devices work based on the computer programs and supply data. Artificial intelligence implies that these devices are able to think on their own. If programmed appropriately, smart devices are able to evaluate data that is provided to them and modify processes or settings on the fly. If they are provided with sufficient data, then can learn and modify their own code based on the new parameters. Imagine a refrigerated truck, okay, carrying goods or frozen goods that is equipped with a global positioning sensor. As the truck, okay, drives into a major city, the sensor determines that there is an accident ahead that is causing the major traffic congestion. The sensor sends the data to the computer system that collects data and makes decisions. The system alerts the driver to the new conditions so that the accident can be bypassed. This or to the market faster with a product that is still frozen. If everything is connected, therefore, everything becomes programmable. When we do programming, we must first have the algorithm. Flowcharts are used in many industries, including engineering, physical sciences, and computer programming, where a complete understanding of processes or workflows is required. Flowcharts are really diagrams that are used to represent idea or these processes or workflows. It is common for programmers to create a first draft of a program with no specific language. These language-independent programs are focused on the logic rather than the syntax and are often called algorithms. A flowchart is a common way to represent an algorithm. Programming languages utilize variable in dynamic buckets to hold phrases, numbers, or other important information that can be used in coding. Instead of repeating specific values in numerous places throughout the code, a variable can be used. Variables can hold the result of a calculation, the result of a database query, or some other values. This means that the same code will function using different pieces of data without having to be rewritten. Okay, so we have in here the Blackly games and Python. No? Google provides a series of free and open source educational games that can help you learn programming. The series is called Blackly Games. There are a number of levels to complete to help you get started. Blackly may look like a toy, but it is a great tool to improve your logical thinking skills, which is one of the building blocks of computer programming. Python, as many of us know, is a very popular language, which is designed to be easy to read and write, Python's developer company adds value to the language by creating all types of modules and making them available to other programmers. So we as programmers would just, look for them to really enhance our programming skills or logical thinking ability. But of course, despite the fact that Python is designed to be easy, there is still a learning curve. To make it easier to learn Python, a beginner can use Blockly to enhance his or her Python understanding. While different programming languages have different semantics and syntax, they all share the same programming logic. And we know that as ITE or IT professional someday. Beginners can use Blockly to easily create a language-independent program, export it as a Python code, and use this newly created code to learn about Python syntax, structure, and semantics. So upon having the algorithm, upon knowing the programming languages to be used, we need to go to prototyping. A prototyping is a process of creating a rudimentary working model of a product or system. For prototyping in the IoT, it helps to have design skills, electrical skills, physical and mechanical skills, programming skills, and to understand TCP/IP works. But you do not need to be an expert in any of these areas. In fact, prototyping helps you to refine these skills. Because the IoT is still developing, there are still unknown tasks to discover. This is a great time to invent something new that is part of the IoT, because the IoT combines people, process, data, and things. So it's a collaboration. There is no end to the inventions that the IoT can help create and then incorporate. How to prototype? No? Google has a large number of resources to pay for the people and materials that go into prototyping. Most of us need some financial help to get our ideas out of our heads and into a prototype. There are a lot of online crowdfunding programs. You may look for Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and Crowdfunder. A good place to start is, of course, the internet. People have exchanged ideas for ages, but the internet allows for ideas exchanges on a whole new level. People who have never met physically can allow collaboration and work together through the internet. There are several websites that you can use or visit to connect with the other makers. There is this what we call Maker Media. It is a global platform for connecting makers with each other to exchange projects and ideas. The platforms also provides a place where makers can find and buy products for their projects. It is also helpful to have physical or practical skills when working with certain materials. For example, wood and metals are common prototyping materials, but they may be too difficult for a beginner to use. You might be surprised with what you can do with plastic, clay, paper, and wires. Search Google for more information or ideas on how to work with the different prototyping materials. There is this what we call Lego Mindstorms. Maybe some of you are familiar with. It has a large community of contributors and fans. With Lego Mindstorms, you can create Lego robots and protocol using and control them using an application. The kits come with everything you need to make it work. There is this what we call also Meccano. Did you hear about Meccano? It's an erector set. It is a model construction system that consists of reusable metal, strips, plates, and angle girders, wheels or axles, and gears, with nuts and bolts to connect the pieces. It lets you build working prototypes and mechanical devices. There is also this what we call 3D printing, which is a process of making a solid object based on a 3D model computer file. A machine called 3D printer is connected to the computer. A number of companies now build and sell a 3D printer. Computer programs cannot run, of course, without a computer. While you can create programs almost in any computer, some platforms are designed for a beginner like us in the IoT. Okay, there are some of the most popular platforms. One could be Arduino. Arduino is an open source physical computing platform based on a simple microcomputer board and a development environment for writing software for the board. You can develop interface objects that take input from a variety of switches or sensors to control the light, monitors or motors, and other physical objects. While the Arduino is not suitable for use as a computer, its low power requirement makes it capable of controlling other devices efficiently. Another device could be the Raspberry Pi. The Raspberry Pi is a low-cost, credit-sized computer that plugs into a computer monitor or TV. You operate it using a standard keyboard and a mouse. Okay? It is also capable of doing everything a computer can do, from browsing the internet, playing high-definition video, to making spreadsheets, word processing, and playing games. See how powerful Raspberry Pi is. Another one is the BeagleBone. It is very similar to Raspberry Pi in size, power requirements, and application. The BeagleBone has more processing power than the Raspberry Pi. Therefore, it is a better choice applications with higher processing requirements. Okay, so if everything becomes programmable, therefore, everything generates data. So everything generates data. Data is information that comes from a variety of sources, such as people, pictures, text, sensors, and websites. Data also comes from technology devices like cell phones, computers, kiosks, tablets, and the like. Big data is a lot of data. But what is the meaning of a lot of data? No one has an exact number that says when data from an organization is considered to be big data. Though, here are some of the 3 characteristics that indicate that an organization may be dealing with the big data. 1, if they have a large amount of data that increasingly requires more storage space. Second, if they have an amount of data that is growing exponentially fast. Third, if they have data that is generated in different formats. Okay. How much data do sensors collect? No? That is the question. Here are some of the estimated examples. Sensor in one autonomous car can generate 4,000 gigabits per day. How many days a week? How many days a month? How many days in a year times 4,000 gigabits? A lot. An Airbus A380 engine generates 1 petabyte, of data on a flight from London to in mining operations can generate up to 2.4 terabits of data every minute. So imagine those data, no? Okay. So we have large data sets, no? Companies do not necessarily have to generate their own big data. Smaller corporations or organizations might have the sensors, the volume of consumers or customers, or the ability to generate the variety of information that could benefit their company. There are sources of free data sets available, ready to be used and analyzed by anyone willing to look for them. Many companies of various sizes believe that they have to collect their own data to see the benefits from the big data analytics. But it is simply not true. Okay? Now, what are the challenges of the big data? No? The IBM's big data estimates that each day, alam niyo po ba, they create 2.5 quintillion bytes of data, upload over 300 YouTube video, sends over 300 or 3.5 million text messages. So siguro yung mga text natin ay considered or included doon sa 3.5, okay, million. Likes over 4 million Facebook posts, no? So lalo na kapag lagi tayong online and nakatutok talaga tayo kay Facebook. The rapid growth of data can be an advantage or obstacle when it comes to achieving the business goals. To be successful kasi, okay, to be successful, enterprises must be able to easily access and manage their data assets. With the enormous amount of data being constantly created, traditional technologies and data warehouses cannot keep up with the storage needs. Even with the cloud storage facilities that are available from companies like Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and many others, that security of stored data becomes a big problem. There are 5 major data problems with big data as represented in the figure. One is the management. The management system to organize and collate those data or information. Security, okay? You have only to allow authorized users to access the big data or the data analytics. Redundancy, we will be able, of course, to maintain the integrity of the stored backups or data backups. Redundancy and disaster recovery are required. Analytics or big data contains both structured, which is, of course, whenever we say structured, that pertains to data that has the fixed format or the same format, such as spreadsheets and the like. Unstructured, those data which came from the email, which came from emails. Access. That big data should be accessible from anywhere at any time. The question now is, where can we store the big data. No? So basically, the big data is typically stored on a multiple servers, usually housed within the data centers. For security, accessibility, and redundancy, the data is usually distributed and or replicated on many different servers in many different data centers. As you can see in the picture, there is this what we call fog computing. No? A fog computing is an architecture that utilizes end user clients or edge devices to do a substantial amount of the pre-processing and storage required by an organization. The fog computing was designed to keep the data closer to the source for pre-processing. We also have this what we call a cloud. A cloud is a collection of data centers or groups of connected servers. Access to software, storage, and services available on the servers as obtained through the internet via a browser interface. Cloud services are provided by many large companies such as Google, Microsoft, Apple. Cloud storage services, which I believe many of us are familiar with, the Google Drive, the Apple iCloud, Microsoft OneDrive, and of course, the Dropbox. Now, from a data management perspective, analytics will simply, or shall we say, were simple when only humans created the data. The amount of data was manageable if the humans are the one who generates the data. The data or the amount of data was manageable and relatively easy to sift through. However, with the explosion of business automation process or systems and the exponential growth of the web applications and machine-generated data, analytics is becoming increasingly more difficult to manage. In fact, 90% of data that exists today has been generated in just the last 2 years. This increased volume within a short period of time is a property of exponential growth. Ibig sabihin, this become considered as the big data. This high volume data is difficult to process and analyze within a reasonable amount. So rather than a large databases being processed by big and powerful mainframe computers and stored in a giant disk arrays, distributed data processing takes the large volume of data and breaks into smaller pieces. These smaller data volumes are distributed in many locations to be processed by many computers with smaller processors. So each computer in the distributed architecture analyzes each part of the big data picture. Maybe you are familiar with Hadoop, no? A Hadoop is or was created to deal with these big data volumes. Hadoop is a project started with two facets, okay? The Hadoop distributed file system, which is a distributed fault-tolerant file system, and MapReduce, which is a distributed way to process data. Hadoop has two main features that have made it easy or that have made it the industry standard for handling the big data. One is scalability. Scalability allows larger cluster sizes, improve performance, okay, and provide higher data processing capabilities. With Hadoop kasi, cluster size can easily scale from a 5-node cluster to 1,000, no, to 1,000 node cluster. There is this what we call a fault tolerance. It automatically replicates data across clusters to ensure that data will not be lost. Okay, so why do business analyze the data? Every organization kasi must become more, or every organization must become more efficient and innovative to stay competitive and relevant in the digitized world. Because this time around, we know that we are at the fourth industrial revolution. The IoT is an integral part of achieving that efficiency and innovation. The goal of many businesses is to collect and analyze the massive amount of data or new product usage data to gain valuable insights. Data analytics allow businesses to better understand the impact of their product and services, adjust their methods and goals, and provide their customers with better products faster. The ability to gain new insights from their data brings value to the business because, of course, the top level management will be having a sound decision because his or her decision came from a data-driven decision. Value comes from two primary types of process data, transactional and analytical. Transactional information is captured, okay, and processed as events happen. Transactional information is used to analyze daily sales reports and production schedules to determine how much inventory to carry. Analytical information, of course, supports managerial analysis tasks like determining whether the organization should build a new manufacturing plant or just hire an additional sales personnel. Okay, so as we have mentioned a while ago, sources of information can be categorized, whether it be structured or unstructured data. Data mining is the process of turning raw data into a meaningful information by discovering patterns and relationships in a large data sets. To be of value, the mined data must be analyzed and presented to managers and decision makers. This is why whenever a company or an organization is having this what we call strategic planning, they are using what we call a management dashboard for them to see the whole picture of the operations. Okay, there are many different visualizations that can be used to present the value in the data. Determining the best charts to use will vary based on the following. Maybe the number of variables to show, the number of data points, and the like. That's why the top level management are using, of course, the management dashboard. Now, if everything generates data, therefore, everything can be automated. What is automation then? An automation is any process that is self-driven and reduces, then eventually eliminates the need for human intervention. Automation was once confined to the manufacturing industry. Highly repetitive tasks such as assembly or automobile assembly were turned over to machine and the modern assembly line was born. Machines are excellent at repeating the same task without fatigue and, of course, without errors that humans are prone to make in such jobs. This results in greater output. Why? Because machines can work 24 hours in a day without breaks. Machines also provide a more uniform product. The IoT opens up a new world where tasks previously requiring human intervention can become automated. As we have seen, the IoT allows the collection of vast amounts of data that can be quickly analyzed to provide information that can help guide an event or a process. As we continue to embrace the IoT or the benefits of the IoT, automation becomes increasingly important. Access to huge amounts of quickly processed sensor data started people thinking about how to apply the concepts of machine learning and automation in everyday tasks. Many routine tasks are being automated to improve, of course, their accuracy and efficiency. Automation is often tied to the field of robotics. No? So pag sinabi natin automation, what connotes to our mind is robotics kagad. Robots kasi are used in dangerous conditions such as mining, firefighting, and cleaning up industrial accidents, reducing the risk, of course, to human being. They are also used in such tasks as automated assembly lines. Even corporate offices. Corporate offices can be occupied by thousands of employees, keeping the environment, such as lighting, heat, humidity, and in the building, within acceptable parameters, helps to keep employees happy and therefore productive. Cell phone is also an example of an IoT. No? See how powerful our cell phones are. Our cell phone or smartphone perform many of the function of a computer, typically having the touchscreen interface. It has an internet access and an operating system capable of running downloaded applications. As you can see in the picture, there is this what we call intelligent footwear, a smart shoe that helps the blind navigate. It uses a smartphone app to help people with sight deficiencies detect obstacles and navigate their surroundings with greater ease. The IoT store, I think everybody was able to experience, no, or most of us. The IoT store like Shopee, Lazada, and the like are also example of an IoT. Smart home, no? A home automation system will monitor and or control the home attributes such as what? Such as lighting, climate, entertainment systems, and appliances. It may also include home security, such as access control and alarm system. When we think of a smart home, maybe what connotes to our mind is Alexa by Amazon. Let me share you this video.
What if I told you that you can control your home just by lifting your finger? Meet SingleQ, the first gesture-controlled device that lets you interact with your TV, entertainment, and even smart home devices with a simple wave of your finger. Using advanced sensing technology, SingleQ tracks your simple finger movement in the air, letting you flip through channels, control volume, and do much more in an exciting new way. With SingleQ, the TV set, cable box, and other media devices you already have become smarter.
Hi.
If you're using a media streamer, SingleQ offers fast and fun control over content. It's freedom at your fingertip. SingleQ will even allow you to control smart home devices, such as smart lights and thermostats, with a flick of your hand. It's an amazing new way to control your home. Even setup is easy. Just plug in the electric cord, download the app, add the devices you own, and let SingleQ connect and control these devices wirelessly. Your home, connected, touch-free.
Alexa, alarm off. Alexa, what's on the calendar today?
You have 12 events scheduled.
Alexa, call me an Uber.
Your Uber will arrive in 2 minutes.
Alexa, what's the weather like today?
There's a 100% chance of showers.
Alexa, pair my Bluetooth speaker.
Okay, paired.
Alexa, it's time to reorder some paper towels.
Okay, order placed.
And Alexa, play my garage music.
Playing your garage playlist from Prime Music.
Alexa, play some jazz.
Playing smooth jazz from Prime Music.
Alexa, who's this?
This is Picnic Basket by Lolitone.
Alexa, turn that up.
Alexa, ask Domino's to send me my last order.
Okay, order placed.
Hey, isn't that Jason?
Alexa,
Malcolm McDowell, Jason Schwartzman.
Ha! See? That was right.
Alexa, change the bedroom temperature to 65 degrees.
Okay,
Alexa, lights off.
okay.
Alexa, good night.
Good night. Sleep tight.
Alexa, call Dad.
Wow, amazing Alexa. How we wish we have Alexa at home. Right? Okay, so let's proceed. No? So artificial intelligence and machine learning. Artificial intelligence is the intelligence demonstrated by machine. This is in contrast to natural intelligence, which is an intelligence displayed by the living organism. AI uses intelligent agents that can operate, that can perceive the environment and make decisions that maximize the probability of obtaining a specific goal and objective. AI refers to a system that mimic cognitive functions normally associated with human minds, such as learning and problem solving. As technology develops, many of the tasks that at one time required AI have become routine. Many of these tasks have migrated from AI to machine learning. ML, as we know, is a subset of AI that uses statistical techniques to give computers the ability to learn from their environment. This enables computers to improve on a particular task without being specifically programmed for that task. So this is specifically useful when designing and developing or programming specific algorithm is difficult or infeasible. Example of such tasks in computer science include malicious code detection, network intruder detection, and the like. Machine learning and Internet of Things. ML in the IoT as one of the features of the IoT is that it enables the collection of extremely large pools of data that can teach programs how to respond on a certain condition. Some of the more common uses of ML or machine learning technology includes speech recognition, product recommendation, shape recognition, credit card fraud detection, and lastly, the facial recognition. I believe some of us are using the facial recognition for security ng cellphones natin. Some of us are using the facial recognition for us to be able to unlock our cell phones and have it, used for Facebook, Messenger, and the like, or tasks. If everything can be automated, therefore, everything needs to be secure. Has data really changed? Well, technically not. Data generated by computers and digital devices is still a group of zeros and ones. That has not changed. What has changed is the quantity, the volume, the variety, and immediacy of the generated data. Today, generated data is taking on new characteristics. The digitized world has opened the floodgates for data gathering. IoT sensor devices are collecting more and more data of a personal nature. Wearable fitness trackers, home monitoring system, and the like. I have in here, or I have displayed on screen the types of data. We have this what we call informational and personally identifiable information. It is the PII is any data relating to a living individual that can be used on its own or with the other information to identify, contact, or locate a specific individual. The data gathered by companies and government institutions can also contain sensitive information concerning, of course, the corporate secrets, the new product patents, or the national security. But because we are gathering and storing exponential quantities of both sensitive and informational data, it has increased the need for extra security to protect this information from the national disasters, hackers, and of course, misuse. Who needs our data? Basically, the good guys and the bad guys. Okay? Legitimate companies have an agreement in place that gives them permission to use the collected data about you for purposes of improving their business. Remember those terms and conditions or terms of service agreement documents that we say yes, but do not usually read. The next time that you are presented with one, okay, I am also telling this to myself. Take time to read through it. The contents might surprise you. Okay, so other legitimate users of our data would be companies that use sensors on their own devices or vehicles, governments that have environmental sensors, and cities who have installed sensors on trains, buses, or traffic lights also have a right to the data they generate. Some hackers called the white hackers, they are paid by legitimate companies and governments to test the security of the device or system. Their goal is not to steal or modify the data, but of course, to help protect the data. However, on the other side, we have this what we call the bad guys. So sana pagdating ng panahon when we become an IT professional, we will not be belonging to the bad guys. Hackers called black hat hackers want access to collected data for many nefarious reasons. To sell the information to a third party, to modify the data, or disable the functionality on a device, to access user IDs and password to steal identities, to access data to commit a crime. So sana po, when we become IT professionals someday, we will be belonging to good guys rather than a bad guy. Now, hackers have accessed the data of many companies over the years, and we have seen that from the news. No? The impact is significant and has changed or has resulted in the data of millions of users being released on the web. There's also this parang from the New York Times, San Francisco in late 2016, Uber disclosed Tuesday that hackers had stolen 57 million driver and rider accounts, and that the company had kept the data breach secret for more than a year after paying 100,000 US dollar. The breach cost Uber in both reputation and money. Now, what are the best or the security best practices? So securing the network, of course, involves all of the protocols, technologies, devices, and tools. And of course, techniques that secure the data and mitigate threats. Network security is largely driven by the effort to stay step ahead of ill-intentioned hackers. Some of the best practices is listed on the screen. If we will be looking at it, we have in here, perform risk assessment, create a security policy, physical security measures, human resource security measures, and have seen educate users. I think this is the best practice that an organization should also have. We should be able to educate the users so that the users may help the organization secure the data. Okay, today's data centers store vast quantities of sensitive business critical information. Therefore, physical security is an operational priority. Physical security not only protects access to the premises, but also protects people and the equipment. Physical security within the data center can be divided into two areas. One is outside perimeter security. This can include on-premise security officers, fences, gates, continuous video surveillance, and the like. We also have this inside perimeter security. This include continuous video surveillance. Many of us or many of the organization nowadays or even our houses has this what we call the video surveillance. Electronic motion detectors, security traps, and biometric access at and exit sensors. Security traps provide access to the data halls where data center is stored. Okay, as you can see in the figure, okay, security traps are similar to an airlock. A person must first enter the security trap using their badge ID, proximity card. After the person is inside the security trap, a facial recognition, fingerprints, or any other biometric verifications are used to open the second door. This is how we, of course, secure the data center physical or the physical data center or physical security. Factors that impact network security in the IoT. The IoT devices are developed with the necessary network connectivity capabilities, but often do not implement strong network security. Network security is a critical factor when deploying an IoT devices. Methods must be taken to ensure the authenticity, integrity, and of course, security of the data, the path from the sensor to the collector, and the connectivity to the device. These are the steps on how are we going to protect our wireless network. Our wireless network kasi are popular in all types and sizes of businesses as they are easy to set up and of course convenient to use for employees and guests. The company needs to deliver a wireless experience that enables mobility and security. If a wireless network is not properly configured, hackers within the range can access it and infiltrate the network. Here are some of the steps. You may change the default administrator password. You may change the Wi-Fi name or the service set identifier. We will not be advertising the SSID name. We may be able to disable our wireless router's remote management feature. We should keep the firewall on, okay? So we should keep the firewall on, okay? We should manage our operating system and browser. It must always be updated. Protect our devices, no? So how are we going to protect our devices? For computing devices, whether they are routers, PCs, laptops, tablets, or smartphones, no, should be password protected to prevent unauthorized access. Tama naman po, no? Any account or even any smart devices, it should have password, no? For mobile devices, only store necessary information kasi in the case that these devices are stolen or lost when you are away your home, if any of your devices is compromised, the criminals may have access to all your data through your cloud storage service provider such as the iCloud or the Google Drive. We should install antivirus and anti-spyware. Para pong guilty rin ako dito. Most of the time, I forgot to install antivirus. Kasi I think sometimes, no, when we were able to open a file which has a virus, upon opening it, you would notice a lot or your friends in Facebook was sent the same file. And as they open it, it will happen the same. Sending the message to your FB friends without knowing it. So, tayo daw po should install antivirus and anti-spyware. Now, so what are the educational and business opportunities? We should become an informed, okay? We should become an informed consumer, okay? So we should become an informed consumer. Okay. Okay. What are the challenges, by the way? Now, what are the challenges in the digitized world? The IoT provides many benefits, but at the same time, it presents many challenges since the IoT is transformational technology. We are now faced with an ever-expanding collection of new technology that we must master. The IoT is changing every aspect of our lives. Every one of these technologies presented major challenges or changes to an established society and was met with an initial fear and apprehensions. After the initial fear of unknown was overcome and the technology was embraced, the inherent benefits become obvious. Its perceived challenges opens up many new opportunities. Can you imagine your life would be without a car, personal computer, access to the internet? Para ang hirap, no? The evolving market. The IoT is changing the job market. Traditional jobs are being replaced with jobs that are designed to embrace all new world and all it offers. The evolving job market in IT opportunities may be specific to cloud computing, but developing new processing or a specialization in a discipline that has not yet been realized. This job reflects skills spanning multiple disciplines that include computer science, computer engineering, and software engineering in the following areas: AI, application development, IoT program developer, IoT security specialist, collaboration, enterprise networks, data center, and virtualization. the evolving job market. So basically, the IoT has created an abundance of jobs within its sphere. This job exists across various spectrums of the design, development, and enabling of the IoT. There are broad categories that summarize the job opportunities that exist in the evolving digitized world. So tingnan nyo to mga estudyante or mga students. Enablers. These jobs develop and implement the underlying technology. Engagers are those jobs design, which include designing, creating, integrating, and deliver IoT services to customers. Enhancers, these are jobs devise their own value-added services on top of the services provided by engagers, which are unique, of course, to the Internet of Things. Entrepreneurs are needed, no? So as we know, entrepreneurs are needed. The IoT is also creating the demand for the new kind of IT specialists. These are individuals with the knowledge and skill sets to develop new IoT-enabled products and process the data they collect. No? And process the data they collect. Now, an entrepreneurial workforce is needed that specializes both in information science and software or computer engineering. Additionally, operational technologies and information technologies are converging in the IoT. With this convergence, people must collaborate. This is a very good characteristic of an individual, or collaboration is very much needed, and learn from each other to understand the things, the networks, the methodologies that harness the limitless of the potential of the IoT. We should be a lifelong learners. With the ever-changing demand or landscape of the digitized world, we must stay current in order to realize the full potential of what the IoT has to offer. The job market will continue to offer more opportunities as new technologies evolve. The skill set required for this job will evolve at the same time, thus creating the need for a lifelong learning. No? So we should study, continue to learn from your classmates and colleagues. Industry certifications. No? Ano ba ang beauty? What is the beauty of having certifications? Basically, certifications can show an employer that an individual, has appropriate skills for a job. Community college or university degrees can show that a person has gained a broad understanding in the field and career in the field of studies. So again, certification can show the employer that an individual has the appropriate skills set for a job. These are additional learning resources. When looking for a degree to pursue at a community college or university, watch for some of the following: computer information system, computer programming, computer science, database administration, electromechanical automation, electronics engineering, Linux networking, machining, network administration, system analysis, and web server administrator. With this, thank you very much for listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Louie, for your engaging talk. I am sure our audience has interesting questions later. So may I invite again our audience to post their question in the chat box for those in the Zoom and comment section for those in FB Live or YouTube Live. And thank you. Hello, good afternoon. So, may we invite the participants to have your questions. You can turn on your microphone and your camera to ask questions. Meanwhile, we will be checking the chat group if there are questions. So initially, Dr. Louie, thank you for a very nice presentation. So may we ask, first question, is IoT the same with AI or what is the difference?
Okay. So good afternoon po. So basically IoT, as the name implies, are machines and devices that are connected to the internet. It is all about sensory data that is used to create algorithms to formulate systems behavior. Artificial intelligence, on the other hand, is an intelligence demonstrated by machines. Machine perform, and take decision in a human-like way. That's it po.
Thank you. Another question is IoT needed in robotics?
Yes po, because robots need data that can be captured by the IoT devices. Both IoT kasi at saka robots depends on sensors to understand the environment around them, no? And then quickly process those data to determine how to deal with or how to respond with the environment.
So far, there are no other questions posted yet. Let's see in the chat. This is another question. What will happen if the network is down while using IoT devices?
So basically, if the network is down, since as we have made mention a while ago, an IoT or Internet of Things is a machine or a device connected to the internet. So basically, it will hang po. Kasi those devices, are exchanging data via the internet. So if it's down, so there's no way to send the data.
Okay. Are there other questions po from the audience? Please type in the chat box. So I'm checking po. Meanwhile, I just want to take the opportunity to announce that Dr. Cory posted in our chat group an advertisement. Just because Alexa is included in the lecture of Dr. Louie, she said that her son is installing Alexa. So if you are interested to have Alexa in your home, please contact Dr. Rebong in the given number and email. It is in our chat group po. Okay, so another question by Ace Spin. What are the biggest challenges in IoT?
So basically, I think the challenges that we are encountering right now or today is that the massive amount of data. As I have mentioned a while ago, there is a need to secure those data. Okay, there is a need to have a management system. There is a need for parang access. Kasi we should be able to access the data from anywhere at any time, no? So on such cases, kailangan po talaga secure yung data natin because as we know, IoT really, capture the data from the surrounding. Because of course, IoT is making a parang use of what we call sensors, no? It really captures the data coming from the environment. So imagine, as I have mentioned a while ago, I think that is 4 million likes sa Facebook post natin. So ganun karami, no? So katulad po kanina, yung na-mention ko, there are parang 4,000 no, na data ang nagagather per day, gigabits. So sabi ko nga po kanina in my presentation, how many days are there in a week? A month? and even a year times 4,000 gigabits. So the big challenges is that how are we going to manage properly, okay, yung mga data na nakaka-capture ni IoT devices. So yun po yung mga challenges: management, security, access, redundancy, and the like. Thank you po for the question.
Maybe this is one last question. Nakalagay niya, is IoT need a strong internet connection? Or maybe the question is, does IoT need a strong internet connection?
Hindi naman po ganun kailangang strong for as long as we can transmit data, no? Kasi the purpose of IoT is that to capture and then of course transfer or send sa kung sino mang device, kasi yung output or yung naka-capture kasi ni IoT devices will be sent to, okay? So sa storage devices for as long as it can transfer. Katulad po ng parang usual kapag tayo ay we will be having classes, we do virtual discussion, for as long as we can transfer data, okay lang po. Hindi kailangan ganito ang kanyang bandwidth, wala naman po siyang required na bandwidth. For as long as we can transmit or send data from one device to another.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you
so
very
we will
much
now
po.
proceed. If no, may isa pang pahabol. Good afternoon. How can IoT solve modern problems during the pandemic?
IoT, no? So basically po, IoT, you are asking to how can IoT solve the problems encountered. So basically IoT, I think katulad po nung IoT store na na-mention ko a while ago, like Lazada, Shopee, and the like. Okay, so we will no longer be going to the stall physically for us to be able to get the product that we need. So maybe we could just justify that really IoT really helps us during this time of pandemic. Kasi there is no need for us to go out to buy for something. There is no need for us to go out just to pay our bills and the like. So parang naisip ko nga po, no, nitong Pasko, di ba, bawal po ang mamasko. Usually, paano po namamasko tayo mga students? Sabi mo, Ninang, mano po, this is my GCash number. So in that sense, we may say that IoT really helps, no, the problem. So we can, parang share, we can make use talaga yung advantage and opportunities of the IoT devices. Thank you po.
Okay po, so we will now proceed with the awarding of certificate.
Thank you.
In order for you to receive your e-certificate, kindly answer our evaluation form, which is posted in your chat box and comment section. Your e-certificate will be sent to your upon filling up our feedback form. Please note that for security purposes, this evaluation link will be only available for an hour after this series. Only members who submitted the evaluation form will be given their certificates. If you are not a member yet, membership fee is only 50 pesos for this school year only. So kindly coordinate with your respective faculty advisor. Thank you. We would like to recognize the valuable input of our speaker by awarding our e-certificate of recognition. Let me read the citations. iSITE Integrated Southern Tagalog Association of IT Education awards the Certificate of Appreciation to Dr. Luisa P. Makatangay for the valuable inputs for the topic Internet of Things given this 6th day of February 2021. Series, which is on February 27, 2021 at 4 p.m. with Dr. Corazon Ribong as our speaker. So we thank everyone for attending this webinar and see you in the next series. Stay safe and have a good day.
iSITE is an organization for IT students formed by the deans from 8 different universities in Region 4A, Calabarzon, Philippines, to boost the IT skills of students from more than 200 universities, offering IT education programs such as computer science, information technology, information systems, and computer engineering. iSITE is the only recognized organization by the Commission on Higher Education in the field of IT education in the region. Its event is always a much-awaited one, since pool of speakers are coming from relevant industries in the field and well-known academicians in the country. In order to address the need for knowledge of students from the very fast-changing technology, iSITE conducted 2 to 3 conferences and seminars in a year, and the annual iSITE Regional Research Conference and Presentation, IT Education, IRR Site, and IT competitions endorsed by the Philippine Commission on Higher Education. As such, iSITE was able to achieve its objectives in a matter of 5 years after its foundation. Most importantly, not only the students benefited, but also the universities and schools in the region. The program helped a lot of schools and students in terms of providing them with the latest seminars and trainings in various emerging topics in ITE. They have been exposed to people in the industry for networking and linkages, and even IT skill certifications. Students as well as faculty member advisors were able to see the latest gadgets and devices, such as drones and robots in advance when they participate in every event. They were able to learn about the research outputs of various school student participants. Faculty members were able to interact and share best practices with each other. Aside from fun, excitement, and prizes, students' outstanding skills in programming, creativity, and research presentations were recognized and showcased. Above all, sharing and collaborations have been developed, and self-confidence of students were proven to assist them in their future career after graduation. As there is a need to further supplement learning of many students in a third world country like the Philippines, especially that the field of IT is a fast-changing technology, IT Students Capacity Building Program was implemented to address the need. Most schools and universities in the regional part of the country need to have state-of-the-art facilities and laboratories at technology education ITE programs are striving to keep its curriculum up to date, facilities upgraded, and learning support resources provided to all its students. However, not all schools and universities in the region can provide the needed learning resources to students, as well as linkages to relevant industries of the programs. Hence, iSITE, Integrated Southern Tagalog Information Technology Education, developed this program. To date, there are more than 2,000 student members and 80 higher educational institutions as institutional members in the region. This program provided industry-aligned and timely seminars, trainings, and conferences to students taking ITE programs in the region, addressing the needs of universities as well as the needs of many small schools in the region. Big schools and universities, and those with higher level of accreditation, local and international, and Center of Development and Excellence in IT Education, are extending their resources and facilities to help other schools through the program. In addition, it also promotes a research sharing and collaborations by allowing students to present their theses and capstone as research outputs to other students from various universities for utilization and potential commercialization. Also, the seminars and trainings provided by experts in the industry develop the IT skills of the students that equip them to compete in several programming and IT skills competition in the regional and national levels.